Ngesonto eledlule umkhuzi wamaphoyisa KwaZulu-Natal uJenene uNhlanhla Mkhwanazi uthule ubufakazi kwikhomishana eliholwa yijaji uMbuyiseli Madlanga ngeinsolo eziningi ezishaqisayo sibala ukuhlakazwa kwethimba lamaphoyisa eliphenya ngokubulawa kosopolitiki KwaZulu-Natal nokunye mbukeli. Ube selandelwa ukhomishana wamaphoyisa kuzwelonke uLieutenant General Fani Masemula. Mbukeli uhlelo i-Asikhulume Let's Talk namuhla lizobheka amakhomishana adlule kanye futhi nelikaMadlanga. Mbukeli ingxoxo yethu izogxila kakhulu ezindlekweni ukuhlala kwalamakhomishana kanye futhi nokuthi kwenziwani ngobufakazi obuvezwa kulezigcawu. Asikubingelele mbukeli sikwamukela ohlelweni i-Asikhulume Let's Talk uhleli nobongiwe umakhumalo wakwazwane. Khumbula ke mbukeli ukuthi siyathanda ukuthi sizwe kuwena ukuthi uthini ngohlelo namhlanje. Mbukeli umdidiyeli walolu hlelo uNombuso Mahlangu usihlanganisele lo mbiko ngeinkundla noma ama-commissions of inquiries olwasemzeni.
Umkhuzi wamaphoyisa kuzwelonke uJenene Fani Masemula ulandele umkhuzi wamaphoyisa esifundazweni iKwaZulu-Natal uJenene Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi ngokwethula ubufakazi esigcawini sekhomishana likaMadlanga.
This is Matlala asking Mokhotsi, and Mokhotsi responded on his WhatsApp. He says they got the letter on Monday. As we speak, they are bringing all the dockets to Spear.
Leli khomishana elimayelana nezinsolo zokuqhambukela kwezombusazwe ngaphakathi kombutho wamaphoyisa aseNingizimu Afrika kuthiwa lizodla imali elinganiselwe ku-147.9 wezigidi zamarandi.
Cele is pursuing Khumalo to resign from the police so that he can stay away from the dismember case because he was appointed to deal with that case departmentally against Gerald Khan. So Khumalo says, no, this is the approach of Cele to want me to back off. And that got me so upset, commissioners, that can really Gerald Cele go to the extent of wanting a person to resign from the service because he wants to protect someone?
If ever he found anything wrong with the task team, he could say, that task team, I think you need to disband it, and we can engage in the terms of the why and how and so on.
Bathini abahlali baseNingizimu Afrika esikhulume nabo ngekhomishana likaMadlanga kanye namanye.
Ya imali sinandaba nawo thina sifuna inkohlakala iphele into esifunayo. Yezwa alright nje Mkhwanazi into zakhe. Asinandaba nemali akulungisizwe.
Umkhwanazi uright ukuthi ethatha amaqiniso abeke obala.
Aningi amakhomishini sibe nawo phambilini nalawa esisaba nawo namanje. Umbuzo uthi siyapi sizophelelaphi kuzokwenzakalani.
Ingabe iMadlanga Commission izoba nawo yini umehluko na? Asikhulume, let's talk.
Mbukela samgele ihambele zethu SIU spokesperson Kaiser Khanyago kanye no Wayne Divinage, founder and CEO of the corruption busting organization Undoing Tax Abuse. Ngizoqala ngawe Khanyago, good evening to you. Let's just start with how is the SIU processing the commission of that's probing the allegations of interference when it comes to politicians in the work of the police service?
As SIU, we have a lot of investigations that are related to the Zondo Commission. We had investigation here at the SABC, we had investigation at Alexco, we had investigation at Prasa, and you name it, ESCOM of this world. And we've done a lot of work in as far as that is concerned. And as you know, the biggest thing that we do is to recover the money. And we can show the effect of, or the impact that we have done so far around that. And that is really something that we will continue to do.
And manbuka i-commission kaMadlanga ngoba obviously a lot of South Africans umuntu uyabuka athi ama-commissions ayahlala kodwa akwenziwa lutho and asiboni ushintsho, asiboni nokuthi kwenzakalani. Umuntu angayibuza ukuthi nina ni-SIU nithini ngalokho nakuthi futhi mhlambe sitshele ukuthi nina njenge-SIU yini into eseniyenzile ukuthi nikwazi ukuthi niyiqiqa zonke lezi imali ezilahlekile.
Yeah, we are very clear, and I can give you clear figures. As SIU, we have recovered 10.9 billion rand out of all the matters that were before the commission. We still have about 17 billion rand that we have freezed we still have to recover at another point. We have got referrals, about 86 to the NPA, and some of these matters are before the courts. The ESCOM matters where people were stealing in ESCOM through the Gupta family and so on. And all of those things are moving as we speak. Mm-hmm. And I always say to people, the commission cost around 1 billion rand. We have recovered 11 times of that, as the SIU alone. Mm-hmm. Therefore, if you look at all the other law enforcement agencies, you'll understand that there's a lot of work that is happening, and we are working very well with each other to make sure that this matter goes forward.
Kodwa abanye abantu bazoke basho ukuthi uma ubhekisisa akekho umuntu mhlambe ungathi mkhulu oboshiwe, and for them that is a huge concern to say that uma ngabe imali iyatholakala abantu abangeni ngani ejele.
Yeah, we always get that, Bongiwe, and the issue here is when we do our work, we then give the evidence. The law is very clear. We give that evidence to the NPA, and the NPA will then look at the case and decide. They are the only prosecuting arm of the state. They will look at it and decide when to do it. If they are not satisfied, they will then send it further for further investigations. Therefore, I think it is something that we need to perfect, because obviously the confidence of the people will always be low when they don't see people in orange overalls. But as people must understand that we do what we're supposed to do. And even the president's office is doing work because they are monitoring all these referrals that we are doing. But beyond that, if you remember in the Zondo Commission, there was a referral that the architecture of corruption fighting must be changed. Yes. And that process has happened, NACEC happened, and the report is with the president, where a new organization that will be based on the SIU will be put up as a Chapter 9 institution.
But what do you say to someone who's watching us tonight, Ozoti, mina nginendaba, ngoba these commissions, manje kukhona i-commission kaMadlanga, for example, and I'm watching it, ngilalele konke lokhu kuyashaqisa, but ultimately, I still do not see anyone behind bars, as much as you are giving us this explanation right now. But what do you say to our viewers who are watching to say, Guti, where is this loophole? Where is this low-hanging fruit failing in order to be able to get people behind bars? Because it's one thing to recover the money. It's another to get arrests.
It is one thing, but it's a bigger part of the one thing. Because people mustn't undermine, because you must understand that services were not given. And therefore, when we recover this money, the money goes back to deliver services to the ordinary people of South Africa. Therefore, it's a big thing. But the other part is we are working together. That's why I'm saying the presidency has got this monitoring mechanism. They have created this monitoring mechanism. All the referrals we give, either to municipalities or to government departments or for disciplinary or to the NPA, are monitored. And they are monitored also by SCOPA. Therefore, we are trying. We also have the Fusion Center where we sit all of us and want each one of us to account. And you would have seen there's movement. You would have seen the asset forfeiture unit is moving and so on. But the question will remain, are we moving at the speed that the people want us to move?
And are you?
We are, and I can safely say
so does it mean it's the other parts of this train that
have to pick up the speed of doing the things that they need to do?
So, as the SIU, how are you processing the developments in the Madlanga Commission? Is there an interest at all that you are watching maybe those developments with, given the fact that we're hearing of contracts that are being mentioned there and monies are also being mentioned? Norma, are you just taking an approach to watch like all South Africans?
Not necessarily. I can safely tell you that there has been referrals to us about that contract, the police contract that was given to Ket Matlala's company. That has already been referred to us, and we are looking at whether we can get a proclamation around that. But we are also watching keenly, because at the end of this commission, if there are things that we need to take up, we are going to take up. And we are clear that our guys are watching it day and night, and to understand what is really happening. But we cannot just take it as it comes. Therefore, it has to be clearly there in the report that says this we're referring to the SIU, and that we will do what we are supposed to do. And we have proven to the country that we will do the work and we will give you the result that you need.
But nonetheless, you must be concerned about what you're hearing there.
Very concerned, but we are saying maybe it's time that something like this happens so that we can cleanse the country and make sure that we move forward. Because sometimes we've got to go low in order for us to start afresh and build up.
When we come back, I want us to look at, because as an organization, there's another layer to this, which is fighting corruption. And I want to understand ukuthi siqalaphi as a country. As you speak about cleansing, where do we go and where are we failing when it comes to making sure that this happens? Hopefully we'll be able to speak to Uwayne Duvenage wase-Outer Mbogela ngoba le nkohlakalo iyenzeka ey'ndaweni ey'ningi. Manje senze njani siqalaphi ukuthi sikwazi ukuthi siyiNingizimu Afrika siyilungise ukanyakaza? Sikubingelele mkweli sikwamukele futhi ohlelweni uma uqede ukuhlanganyela kanye nathi sikhuluma ngeinkundla zophenyo commissions mbukeli of inquiry eNingizimu Afrika nokuthi zidlala yiphi indima kanti futhi imuphi umehluko eziwenzayo mbukeli ngoba siyazi ukuthi okwamanje kune commission abayibiza ukuthi iMadlanga Commission. It's probing allegations of political interference when it comes to the work of the SAPS. Kodwa mbukeli seke kwaba khona amakhomishini amaningi eNingizimu Afrika ngiyacabanga nje mbukeli kukhona iCommission yaseMarikana kwaba khona futhi iCommission kaSiriti mbukeli kwaba khona iJali Commission mbukeli kwaba khona iCommission kaNugent mbukeli maningi amakhomishana bekhona eNingizimu Afrika ngibala nje amancane nje mbukeli kodwa wona imuphi umehluko asewenzile ukuthi akwazi ukuthi siyiNingizimu Afrika sikwazi ukuthi silwisane kanye nenkohlakalo ikakhulukazi futhi mbukeli umucabanga nje iMwerane Commission eyayiphenya futhi kabanzi nje ukuthi kwenzakalani kwaZulu Natal mbukeli kodwa okwamanje sisahleli noKaiser Khanyago okhulumela iSIU ngoba mbukeli at the gist of all of this inkohlakalo. Inkohlakalo kumele ukuthi nje siyizwe laseNingizimu Afrika sikwazi ukuthi silwisane nayo. Baba Khanyago uma sibheka nje inkohlakalo ngoba kuyaye kuthiwa bengibukile namhlanje kuMadlanga Commission uzwa umholo wamaphoyisa ekhuluma ngokuthi kukhona ama-instructions izinto ayitshenwayo ukuthi azenze kodwa azikho emthethweni. Kwesinye isikhathi kube khona idingo mhlambe ezibakhona noma ama-decisions that get taken by different ministers and all of that with undue influence when it comes to the workings of some of those people, particularly those who would be working in different governments. We've seen this in the Zondo Commission being laid bare there. Is that the only source of the problem or does the rot go deeper?
The rot goes very deep. The instructions that are unlawful is one part, but also they break the systems. They go against the laws. They go against the prescripts that are there to make sure. But also it is greed. Because if you look at most of the investigations that we do, you'll find that people at all levels, because sometimes we only look at the top part, but people at all levels, we've got people who do not want promotion. They're at the lowest level, but where they are, this is a man who or a woman who signs for stock to come into a hospital, for example. And that person has got power. Even when stock has not come in, they sign the paper that it has come in. And they get paid lots and lots of money. You look at their lifestyle, you realize that at the salary that they're getting, therefore the rot is much bigger than that. And
it explains ESCOM.
It explains ESCOM. It explains many other. Because in ESCOM, everybody is looking at the top. But the people, some of the people that were arrested were ordinary people who were working in power stations. Therefore, all of those things are happening together. That is why, as the SIU, we always say, the whole of society approach is very important. Because as ordinary people, we see these things on a daily. And we just say, it's none of our business, it's government. And then you forget that the repercussions of all of that will be felt by us. Hence, we had load shedding. And
when you then look at, for example, the work that you've been doing, did it shock you when you hear that there could be an instruction that's then given possibly, and these are still allegations at the moment, but there could be an instruction given to a police commissioner to say you need to do this, despite a team that has been performing in his view and what he says, that disband this entire thing without as much as tangible evidence as to why it needs to be? How widespread is this?
No, we are not shocked, because we have seen during COVID there were instructions like that were given, and you would have seen that there were instances where MECs were removed because of the investigation of the SIU. That was very clear to say this kind of instructions that you made were not the correct ones, and you must account for it. It happened in Gauteng, it happened in the Cape, where executive authority was removed because of that. It happened with the digital vibes, as one example. Therefore, this kind of things happen.
Wayne Duvenage, I do understand that we now have you on the line. My apologies for just, just keeping you waiting for so long. Firstly, let's just start with Outer and how your organization is processing the developments in the Madlanga Commission.
Yeah, hi. I think we are pleased with the developments, that it's going in the right direction. Look, without this commission, there's a lot that we wouldn't know about. So it's important that if we do get to the bottom of what's happening and what's gone wrong in the criminal justice system, specifically in the police. I think if you listen to Kaiser and the SIU, by the way, doing excellent work, if all our criminal justice system elements were working in the same level of competence, then I don't think we'd be in this situation. And we've got to ask ourselves this question. Why do we need all these commissions? What is really going wrong?
Yeah.
It does start with security and policing. So we're happy that this commission is taking place. The question is, what is going to be done with the information that comes out of it?
And in your view, do we need these commissions?
Yeah, well, yes, we do. When there's rot in the system, we need them. But what we need more than anything is the implementation of the recommendations and action on the findings. We haven't seen enough of that in the Zondo Commission. We did see some good work coming out of the Nugent Commission and SARS. But we hope that we get a lot more out of this commission than we did from the Zondo Commission. So we do need these commissions because they do help us unpack and get to the bottom of what the issues are.
And I suppose it also speaks to the issue of governance, right? Because if you are now going to listen to what, for example, what the National Police Commissioner was talking about, it kind of lays bare so far, what could possibly be happening behind closed doors as far as governance issues are concerned, and some instructions that would then be allegedly given by politicians.
Yeah, there's far too much political interference, political meddling. We see this in all sectors of government, by the way, not just in the police. We see it in higher education, we see it in transport, electricity, energy. The list goes on. And this is what happens when you get politics interfering with operations of the country and the administration. This is what you get when there are political party interests and personal interests and gains to be made. And this is a serious problem that we have in the country, and we shouldn't have these problems. But we have them. They're a reality of a system that's gone wrong, horribly wrong, that does not take the interests of the people first, but it puts individual and political interests before the people. And that's a sad problem we have.
Yeah, it certainly is. Wayne, please stay on the line for us, and we'll continue this conversation in just a moment. Mbokeli sesiphethe nje-ke sizwe kuyihambeli zethu ngezisombululo ezingenza nokuthi mbokeli sibone ukuthi ukubaluleka kwenkohlakalo kokususa kwenkohlakalo eNingizimu Afrika kungabe ukuthi kwenziwa kanjani. And let me start with you, Wayne, especially when you think about the fact that we've seen corruption as we've continued to speak about it, but I wonder for you, when it comes to the commissions of inquiry and the fact that their findings are not binding, how much of a concern is that still for you, and should they be made binding?
Yeah, we wish they were. If it was a judicial commission of inquiry, they could be binding. But that's neither here nor there. What should happen is the NPA should be watching what's happening. I know the SIU are watching. The Hawks should be watching. SARS should be watching. All these elements within the criminal justice system should be taking note of everything that's taking place here. And they can use this evidence, by the way. They don't have to wait for the end of the commission. They can run concurrent cases. So let's say tomorrow the commission unleashes real hard evidence of corruption that took place. They can go and fetch that evidence. They've got powers, either the police or the NPA, the investigators, and they can start laying charges. So you can run these things in parallel. You don't have to wait to the end. And that's what we were saying about the Zondo Commission. As this information was unfolding, they could have started to take action, but they waited 2 years or 3 years to the end, and that was wrong. So there's a lot that can come out of this. We just hope that the authorities are doing something.
How much of a disappointment was it for you, if at all, when you heard that the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Commissioner was saying that he, in fact, was ready to go testify in the Zondo Commission? Do you think if he was given time then, we wouldn't be here?
Well, maybe. You don't know what would have transpired. We wish that he had have then. Maybe we wouldn't be where we are. But one thing we do know is that we shouldn't be in this place as a nation. We have got such potential. If we could just get the administration right, if we could get the appointments of the professionals and the investigators and that into the policing services, if we didn't disband the Scorpions, for instance, we might not have been here as well. And so we've got, as Kaiser said, the NACAC report is out, and the president has an opportunity to do something really different so that we can get on top of corruption in this country, because it is killing us. Too much money is being wasted, not finding its way to service delivery, and the poorest of the poor suffer the most. And this is a sad reality. So, let's hope that this commission unearths a lot of hard evidence that we can use now in the criminal justice system and put people behind bars.
Yeah, Kaiser, in about 10 seconds, what's next for the SIU?
Yeah, what we are going to do is to continue to follow up, because most of these matters are now before the tribunal and before the High Court. We will then make sure that we recover all of this money and then we bring it back into the system, because at the end, the people need to get services and they need that money to get those services. We cannot continue with hospitals not having medication, cannot continue with people not having water all over the country. Therefore, we will continue to do the work and make sure that we make the South Africans proud.
Gentlemen, let me thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Mbogela sibonge kwihambele zethu SIU spokesperson Kaiser Khanyago, no Wayne Divinage, founder and CEO of the corruption busting organization Undoing Tax Abuse, that's OUTA. Mbogela khumbula ukuthi uma uphuthele uhlelo liyaphinda kusasa ku SABC 1 ngehora lesithathu. Sikhona futhi Mbogela kule Haye, YouTube kanye na ku SABC Plus. Kuze kube ngeviki elizayo sobe sikhuluma ke nge-G20. Iyini, isho ukuthini, ingabe wena ekuthinta kanjani? Unganyakazi, uzokubona ngeviki elizayo.